McLean at forwards for the Bullets. McLean starting in place of Juwan Howard. McLean has missed much of the season with injuries. 7'7" George Murison, Cheney and Overton in the backcourt. Hill and Addison at the forwards for the Pistons. Terry Mills starting at center. He is expected to try to draw Murison out on the floor. Dumars and Houston, the high-scoring backcourt for the Pistons. We expect a Grant Hill, Chris Webber head-to-head matchup today.
And you would think by looking at the respective sizes and strengths of those two players that Chris Webber would have his way inside. That has been the nemesis for the Pistons all season long, trying to defend the power teams inside. That's what the Bullets are hoping and trying to become.
Dick Bavetta, Lee Jones, Gary Benson today as officials. Webber jumping against Mills, two former Michigan players. Right to me.
Great hands. I didn't know you were starting as well, Tom. Interesting, though. You got a guy 7'7" or 7'8" on your team, and he doesn't even jump center.
Right. George Murison wears 77. We asked him who devised that. He is 7'7". He said, I did. He's from Romania, just learning English. Mills drives right by him to the basket for the first free throw game. We saw the strategy there, huh?
We saw that exact same play yesterday in practice. The isolation, spread the floor, tried to take advantage of Murison's inability to move his feet.
Murison posting Mills now. They get it to him. He has a nice shooting touch, and he throws it down.
Right back at him. Strength for strength. Mills' mobility and outside shooting ability. Murison in the low box, turning to that right shoulder.
Grant Hill being checked by McLean at the moment. There goes Mills again by Murison. Kicks it back outside. Allen Houston for three, way off the mark. Although Houston has been the hot scorer for the Pistons of late, averaging 24 points his last 12. McLean for the Bullets.
McLean, last year's NBA's most improved player, trying to find a rhythm this year. Reduced playing role with Juwan Howard joining the fray, and injuries have hurt his cause.
Hill got a step on McLean, kicked it back to Mills.
Come on, John, right here, right.
And McLean the rebound.
That's something that will be wide open all day long because the big shot blockers, Webber, Murison, they love to converge on penetration.
Double of Murison, and McLean's pass knocked away for a moment. Cheney saves. Webber fouled.
First play of the game, Terry Mills right down the lane. Murison just back off him. Let him see. Terry Mills hasn't played in 7 games due to an injury. And Murison over the fronting Terry Mills. That's a tough shot to stop. That guy, besides being skilled, is very, very tall.
Shoots down at the basket from 7'7". Webber misses the first free throw. We'll have another. Missed them both. Murison tried to keep it alive. Mills chases it down.
Webber, like Shaq, one of the league's worst foul shooters for a true star. Just 48% for Chris Webber from the line.
And a traveling call.
Terry Mills is so excited about playing today. He said missed the last 7 games, plantar fasciitis. 10 out of the last 18 games as second-year Piston coach Don Cheney, one of the league's top coaches, most well-respected coaches, been in it for his whole life.
But under fire lately. Been under fire here in Detroit and around the NBA, and his job somewhat in question.
They're going to reevaluate that situation for Cheney at the end of the season.
McLean misses a 3. Murison the offensive board, and McLean lays it through. McLean has 4 points. The Bullets lead by 4.
Bullets, who often get off to very good starts and strong and impressive leads.
Shooting over Murison. It's interesting to see the game theories develop. The matchups you mentioned, the Pistons have had trouble with the big guys, with Murison. So Mills has gotten the call today, and it's kept them right in the game.
Overton, who pulled the trigger on that fast break jumper. Nice defense that time by Murison, who got poked in the face.
Addison missed it. Murison still at the other end of the court. Now making his appearance in front court.
Albert Cheney in the isolation.
Cheney knifing to the hoop and draws the foul. Allen Houston commits it.
Murasan, who has become one of the league's most effective defensive forces, just stands right there. Addison, who is like Mills, taking the ball right at the defense. Good passing by Weber.
Got it to Murasan, and Mills tried to front him, but no good. He just shot right over him. Murasan has 4 points. 8-4 game. Hill's first shot finds the mark.
Don McLean that time matched up with Grant Hill. He will try to defend. Interesting matchups here as Weber just delivers inside, holding off Grant Hill. That's a play that I think we'll see a lot of today. Grant Hill, not enough body strength to keep Weber out of the deep post.
And McLean with a nice pass.
McLean's denying defense on Grant Hill.
Pistons have taken 2 of 3 from the Bullets this season, and typically, as you mentioned, the Bullets break out to a big lead but can't hold on.
Nice dump down after Weber was looking for his own shot. Can't teach height in basketball. You can certainly teach skills, which Murasan has a load of.
There's Hill streaking to the basket for the layup. And it makes it a 2-point game. Chaney on Houston. Came up short. Allen the rebound.
Allen Houston played some terrific defense early on. Not normally the strong point of his game. This guy is a big-time shooter, though.
Spinning move won't go for Allen Houston. Rebounded by Overton. Pick and roll. Chaney now gets away from Houston, and Mills comes over to help and commits the foul. Chaney went right around Allen Houston that time.
Allen Houston doesn't need to guard Calbert Chaney from the perimeter that much. He has not been shooting well. Not normally a great perimeter shooter. The numbers on the season, very strong. Chaney just his second year. 6th player chosen in last year's lottery. 6 players out of 22 of the last lottery picks in this game today. We look at Calbert Chaney's season last year.
And before the second foul shot was taken, the Pistons will take a timeout. It comes early. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Chris Webber, member of Michigan's Fab Five, and well known to the Detroit Pistons veterans. In fact, during the summer, some of the Pistons used to drive over to Ann Arbor for pickup games. Joe Dumars told us about it.
Yeah, we used to play with them in the summertime. We used to drive up Ann Arbor, which is about 35 minutes from here.
Remember Isaiah and Joe Dumars coming into the arena and everybody on our team getting scared. And Jalen would start talking, and I'd just make those guys get loose, and they would show us what it's like to be professional.
You knew right away, we'll be seeing you guys soon. They were in college then, but we knew we'll be seeing you guys real soon.
But who won the games? We asked them both. Joe declined to comment in his humble manner. Chris Webber said the Pistons with Isaiah and Joe busted them every time.
I thought it was interesting, though, that the Pistons went to them.
Well, the college guys, they didn't have cars.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Of course, that never would have happened at UCLA.
Right. And you're still basking in the glow of the Bruins' semifinal win yesterday.
As is Oliver Miller on the bench today for Arkansas and for the Detroit Pistons, excuse me.
After Chaney hits the free throw, the first in 4 attempts by the Bullets. The illegal defense call. There's Oliver Miller.
Oliver Miller wearing his Razorback hat there, suffering from an upper respiratory infection. Had been out the last couple of days. Jim Lynam for the Washington Bullets in his first year, longtime coach in his own right. One of the great teachers in basketball comes out of the Jack Ramsey School, where he played for Hall of Famer Ramsey at St. Joseph's, assistant coach for him for the Blazers.
And you played for him as Houston nails a 3. In fact, you played not only for Jim Lynam, but for Don Chaney and for Casey Jones, the Pistons assistant.
All my ex-coaches are here. They're saying, well, you finally get healthy and do something. Good defense by Grant Hill.
Lynam said you were like an assistant coach because you never practiced. Triple team. Weber passes out of it, and Chaney misses the three. Mills the rebound.
Washington, a poor outside shooting team, but with Weber, Murasan, Howard, and McClain, a terrific offensive rebounding team.
Hill with a penetration, and the Bullets foul.
Foul on Washington's Don McClain, his first.
Grant Hill's ball handling ability. Remember, this guy's playing small forward, much the way Scottie Pippen is able to get into the lane. Very little contact there on Murasan.
And Grant Hill takes the inbounds pass and slams point number 6. Pistons have taken a 3-point lead. Lob it for Chaney underneath. No shot available. Sweeping left-handed hook. Murasan on tiptoes puts it back.
We laugh, and it's often very funny, but Murasan so effective now with 6 points and 4 rebounds.
3 for 3 shooting and 4 boards. Dumars. That's a trade that won't go. McClain another rebound.
Dumars playing whatever role Don Chaney wants him to play. Off the bench right now. He's been starting of late.
Dumars almost got it away from Chaney. Murasan to McClain underneath. Not a very good pass, and the Bullets turn it over.
On McClain, who's matched up one-on-one on the perimeter. They're just counting too much on Murasan to finish it off. You got to keep the man in front.
Pistons with the ball, leading by 1.
Isolation one more time.
And Hill is fouled again.
Washington's number 10.
Chaney commits this one. First and the second against Washington with 5:09 left in the opening period.
That's what makes this former Final Four performer so tough, is his ability to put the ball on the court and go by guys. Plays basically every position.
Beautiful move by Grant Hill. Big time. He's 4 for 4.
I think the Washington Bullets defensive strategy is flawed here. They're not rotating quickly enough. Maybe even double team Hill quickly.
Offensive foul called on the Bullets.
Comes around. He's got one guy, 2 guys. You can't allow a guy to get around you to the outside. Murasan, not blessed with foot speed, needs to position himself better.
Well, the Grant Hill show carrying the Pistons to the lead after trailing early. McClain, the offensive foul, his second. Double team Hill, he ducks out of it. And Mills has it swiped by Weber. Here's the Bullets break, 3-on-2. Weber, nice catch, reverse slam.
This is one of those games where the fans are going to be cheering for both teams. They love Chris Weber here. And Hill is able to connect right back in this offensive burst here for Hill.
Shooter's roll for Hill, who's 5 for 5.
Mismatch, give it to a guard, get in the post, Chris Weber.
Now the double team of Weber.
Nice ball movement.
Chaney open for the 3. Bullets do move it around to get the open 3, and with 4 minutes left, we're tied at 18. Houston lofted up, no good. Got it over the 7'7" Murasan, but couldn't connect. Overton with a lob to Weber.
Poor transition defense for Detroit. Granted, their front line playing very short-handed without Oliver Miller today. Mark West relegated to a substitute's role, but you can't let your Chris Weber get open in transition like that.
And he hasn't missed a shot. He's 3 for 3. Houston fouled by Murasan.
Weber, one of the game's best at running the floor, and certainly at the top of this elite NBA group of finishing at the hoop. Overton reads it perfectly, but look, there's not a single body. This is the guy who you talk about the entire time in your pregame preparation, and he's wide open for dunks on the fast break.
Allen Houston, an excellent free throw shooter in his college days at Tennessee, led the Southeastern Conference in free throw shooting and is hitting 85% this season. Rex Chapman on the floor for the Bullets, replacing McLean.
It's like an SEC all-time all-star game here. You being their broadcaster, you've seen these guys grow up over the years.
Indeed, and there's Rex Chapman, who was a bit of a disappointment, I guess, when he left Kentucky after his sophomore year, but last 2 seasons, when he hasn't been injured, has played very well. Cheney, outside shot, no good. Murasan taps it to himself, stripped away by Dumars, but out of bounds.
When you watch George Murasan play, you get a sense that this guy really understands the game of basketball. His comprehension, the tipping the ball to himself. Murasan already 4 rebounds, 2 on the offensive end.
And timeout taken with 3:03 left in the first period and a tie game. Many of those in the Palace today came to root for the opposition. Chris Webber, the former Fab Five member, and this is not a local ticket scalper. This is Chris Webber with 50 tickets for today's game, friends and family, and right now his biggest fan is with Marianne Grabavoy.
Well, thank you, Tom. He credits his father, Macy, with so much of his development. Macy, you've been working at the General Motors plant here for almost 30 years. When Chris signed last year, he gave you a special present, didn't he?
A brand new Cadillac Seville.
But it was payback for something that happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago, I bought a brand new Pontiac, and the dealership called me up. I was at home and said, we have your car ready. So what I did was go over to the dealership and to get the car, brought the car back to the house, parked the car in the yard, and 2 minutes later, Chris comes to the door and rings the doorbell and said, Dad, guess what? I painted your car for you. What he had did, painted the molding, the tires, and the front of the car. So what I really wanted to get him in just his nick, but I thank Chris for everything he did for me.
Your son's a restricted free agent at the end of the season. I'm sure you'd like to have him in Detroit.
That would be good, but being loyal is the most important thing.
Being loyal.
Being loyal to Washington Bullets. That's the most important thing.
You don't think he'll be here?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you for being with us. We appreciate and enjoy watching the game. Tom, back to you.
All right, Marianne. Rex Chapman with a steal and bucket after Webber had an assist to Murasan. Hill has it stripped away out of bounds and back to Detroit. The Fab Five still very much in the minds of those in this area. Chris Webber, Juwan Howard now with the Bullets. Jalen Rose with Denver. Ray Jackson and Jimmy King have just finished their senior season.
Jalen Rose leading that Denver charge, trying to get that last playoff spot in the West, chasing Sacramento. Denver playing their best basketball of late with a huge victory at Indianapolis a couple days ago.
Chapman saves it to Webber. Murasan with 6 to shoot. Big sweeping hook. Rebounded by Mills.
Really like the way Chris Webber is feeding the post today.
Houston is fouled. Well, Macy Webber working on the General Motors Cadillac assembly line for 27 years, and his son bought him a Cadillac with his contract money.
And Chris offered to have his dad retire, but his dad, much the way I did, I made the same offer to my dad when I was a kid. And both dads said, hey, we like work. That's what defines our self-worth. And Macy and his wife Doris just doing a terrific job in raising this fine man, as well as 3 other sons who are upcoming ball players.
Who were all over at practice here yesterday, rebounding for their son who was working on his outside shot, or they're rebounding for their brother who was working on his outside shot. Chapman off a screen, checked by Hill. Webber trying to post. Entry pass. Turnaround fall away off the mark. Murasan, offensive board and another shot. George Murasan having a great first quarter. He's 5 for 5, 10 points and 6 boards.
Detroit's last 2 losses, they've lost 9 of their last 11 games overall, but their last 2 losses at home as Mills tries to take advantage of Murasan.
Madison, long range 2, his first bucket.
The last 2 losses, though, Detroit here at home, hammered by San Antonio, blasted by the Knicks. Big guys inside. Murasan just continuing that routine here that's become all too familiar here in the Palace.
Final minute of the first quarter. Murasan's first miss. Addison kept it alive. Houston leading the Piston break. Allen Houston with a finger roll. And Webber on the other end.
Very poor balance for Detroit. Everybody inside. What happens when you get guards that love to go to the hoop there? Normally Joe Dumars would rotate back. It's the mental breakdown there for the Pistons.
10 to shoot. Game clock shows just now 20 seconds. Hill fouled. Looks like a reach in on Doug Overton.
While on Washington's Doug Overton, his first penalty situation.
Joe Dumars, normally the point, an off guard, forced to play the point. Allen Houston on the off guard goes right to the hoop. The defense just backs off, and Joe Dumars is in there thinking rebound, and nobody gets back to cover the backcourt. Easy transition basket for the Bullets.
And Grant Hill will have another.
Grant Hill is the Henry Iba Defensive Player of the Year his last year in college basketball, playing, of course, for Krzyzewski and Duke. So talented in every aspect of the game. The ultimate complete player.
Final seconds, first quarter. Cheney for three. Hill the rebound. Quickly on the outlet. And a foul on Overton. Hill taking it out on the dribble and drawing the foul.
Foul on Washington's Doug Overton. That's his second.
Number 2 on Overton.
Situation.
Comes with 2.5 seconds left. One in the penalty for Grant Hill.
Grant Hill, the highest draft choice since Isaiah Thomas was taken second overall in the '81 draft.
One more free throw. Missed the boat. Follow shot no good as the first quarter comes to an end. So Grant Hill with 2 misses to close the first quarter. The only flaw in his game, it's been as advertised through the first period. Chris Webber's missed only 1 shot with 8 points. Grant Hill perfect in 5 attempts. And it's 28-28. Webber and Hill going at it from the Palace of Auburn Hills. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Chris Webber and Allen Houston, stars of the future on 2 teams of the future and former teammates, these 2.
These guys go way back, as they were part of the USA development team that was the Dream Team 1 opponents out in La Jolla, California, along with Grant Hill, who's playing today, Penny Hardaway, of course, Mashburn, Montross, big guy for the Celtics, Hurley. Grant Hill was telling us before the game today that even though these practice sessions were closed to the public, that Allen Houston, in Hill's opinion, was the best player on that entire development team. He has certainly made his mark in his early NBA career.
Given the opportunity with injuries to get into the Pistons starting lineup, he's been a sensation lately after a disappointing rookie season, and said he just made up his mind after the All-Star break to do it his way, to not worry about expectations and everything else, to just go out and play, and he has been sensational.
His way has always been to be a shooter. Been putting up 24 points a game. Grant Hill throws down yet another one, dunking in people's faces. Jimmy Lynam up and down the sideline, irate at the breakdown of the defensive scheme, something that's happened year-long for the Bullets.
Chapman gets away, and a pretty shot off glass for Rex Chapman, his 4th point. Well, Mitchell Butler was victimized by Grant Hill that last time down court. Calvert Cheney is guarding him now. West blocked by McIlvaine.
Did you say Mitchell Butler, another player from UCLA in the court for Jim Lynam? Mitchell Butler is an outstanding defensive player. That's another testament as to how good he is.
Chapman misses a 3. Good block out by Hill for the board as Cheney and Hunter get tangled up and fall to the court. Houston now with 12 points.
The chemistry coming together right now for this Detroit team. The perimeter guys seem to be in place here. What they really need is some more big guys. Remember, it's the big guys that win the championship for them.
Wait a minute, now you might be a little biased. Grant Hill with a slam right around Mitchell Butler.
Then a penetration by Hill, drawing the defense, and that sets up Allen Houston along the perimeter. And there's one of those big guys that hung those two banners up here.
What about Isaiah and Dumars?
You got to have the great individual players, but guys like Lambeer and Dennis Rodman and Rick Mahorn and James Edwards is Bill Lambeer, one of the most popular players, but only in this building.
Yeah, he got the round of applause when people saw him on the big screen you heard here, but meanwhile, everywhere else, the most hated man in the NBA.
Along with Danny Ainge, of course.
Foul called on Calbert Chaney, his second.
Jim Lynam, the second winningest coach in the history of the 76er franchise in Philadelphia, a team that itself is trying to put it together.
Said he was happy to be back in coaching, that this was a good guy, good bunch of guys to be with every day. Weber, anticipating, picks it off. Weber with a little showtime, missed the shot, couldn't finish it.
Tremendous move, though, by Weber, showing his versatility.
And then he again is right there to pick it off. Houston does the same for Detroit. Can you top this?
Very ragged play. What you would expect from two teams at the bottom of the division, but teams coming together over time with great players for the future.
Pistons by 3.
Michael Jordan is back when the Bulls face the Cavs, an NBA doubleheader next Sunday.
Chris Webber and the Washington Bullets trailing the Detroit Pistons by 3. Grant Hill leading the way with 14 points for Detroit. And both teams shooting well. Washington 52%, Detroit 50%.
Washington normally shoots very well against Detroit. Better than 50% in the 3 games played to date. Detroit, though, has won 2 of the 3.
Butler for 3. Mitchell Butler's first basket is a tray to tie the game at 33.
Mitchell Butler, not a pure shooter, just an outstanding all-around, talented, skilled player. Needs more range, more ability to finish his jumper.
Hunter on the point for the Pistons. Hill ducking inside, and an offensive foul.
He's learning quickly. You come in there, you use that off arm as a weapon, just push off, make him call it the first couple of times. You got 6 fouls, no need saving any of them.
First foul on Grant Hill.
Washington ball.
And don't forget golf coming up next here on NBC. We'll go down to New Orleans for the Freeport McMorran Classic following NBA basketball here on NBC. Bullets trying to break the tie. Weber launches an outside shot that is an air ball.
Murastan might have got a piece of that. Weber claiming it was a foul. Weber has the ability to shoot the 3, put up good numbers over the top.
And Chapman's pass a little too long for Weber on the lob.
But this is a team that's coming together. They had a huge game at Cleveland on Friday night, led most of the way, as they often do. That pass a little off the mark, guide it right to the corner of the square like you're shooting the bank shot.
Turnovers about even, 5 Washington, half a dozen Detroit. It's good by Hunter, Lindsey Hunter from Jackson State with his first basket.
Mitchell Butler, like Rex Chapman, like Overton. These are players that are really going to have to come into their own to support the great front line that Washington is developing. As we look at the youngest teams in the NBA, Washington in second place there. Of course, Dallas, they seem to have been in the top spot there for the last 5 or 6 years. Clippers and Philadelphia.
And you take West and Dumars off the Pistons team, and they're right up there.
Dumars, though, Joe says he's going to be around for a couple more years.
2 more years, the length of his contract, and he said he'll gracefully step aside and get a season ticket. They might even give him one, you think?
I think he'll buy it.
Washington now only 1 of 6 at the free throw line. Hunter can't hit it. McElvain the board.
Over the top again. They're just not matching up with Weber, who's one of the league's best big men at running the floor.
Missed that quick shot. Rebounded by West. Here come the Pistons.
But it's the enthusiasm that Weber plays with that is so infectious. It makes this Washington Bullet team so promising for the future. That just big light bulb that goes off in everybody's eyes.
There's something new in Allen Houston's game these days. A drive to the hoop, which results in a Washington foul. First foul on Mitchell Butler. We've got a timeout. 6:58 remaining until halftime on the NBA on NBC. Now here's Grant Hill with our tip of the week.
Hi, I'm Grant Hill. The new NBA rules say that a defensive player cannot hand check unless in the low post. Therefore, a defensive player like myself must be quicker with my feet and my legs.
And Hill slapped it away.
As you guard your man, stay low. Slide your feet as you move, but don't cross over. Half court grab, half court grab. Focus in on the body. Your opponent's torso will not fake you out. The midsection will always tell you where he's going. And keep your hands active, or you might deflect the pass, or you might even get a steal.
Grant Hill.
Feed him to the spot and force him to use his weak hand. If you do that, you will get help from your teammates. Playing defense is hard work, but the Pistons know defense wins championships.
And Grant Hill, we sat and talked to him yesterday. I guess everyone that's met this rookie has said about the same thing, but his poise and his confidence and his intelligence just come across when you talk to him for 5 minutes.
And the balance in his life, which is the key to defensive success. He's learning from one of the league's all-time best in Joe Dumars every day in practice. When he talked about the ability to move the feet, the hands, so unimportant in defense, all footwork. And he learned at the best from Krzyzewski down at Duke.
Getting a break on the Piston bench at the moment as Allen Houston sinks 2 free throws to put Detroit up by 4.
Nice post feed.
Murason's hook shot rattles down. 12 points for Murason on 6 of 8 shooting.
You know, looking at Murason and comparing him to a Manute Bol or a Mark Eaton, I don't think does justice at all to Murason, who appears to be significantly more skilled than either of those giants,
especially offensively. Mills' shot is no good, rebounded by the Bullets. Looking to tie the game.
And just his sense, Murason, of the game of basketball. Weber finishes nicely on the break. The Bullets battling back to forge a tie.
Fast break of the Bullets has been productive today. Weber records his 10th off the break. They have outscored Detroit off the break 12-4.
Murason forcing wild shots time and time again.
Blaine is fouled by Houston.
Getting the ball in the post. Look at that zip pass, so quick, right over the defender's end. And now the postman has something to do with it rather than having to reestablish his position.
Look at now. How tall are you? 6'11"?
I'm 6'11", and George Murason is, as you can see, quite a bit taller than I am.
Now you know how I feel when we do the stand-up every game.
But it's not how tall you are; it's how tall you play, and you're a giant, Tom.
Tallest player in the NBA, 7'7", George Murason from Romania, from Transylvania to be more precise. Speaks French, speaks Romanian, and is learning English. In fact, Jim Lynam says the next step is for him to become more proficient in the use of English for communication purposes with his coach, although there are some that say Lynam can't communicate that well with anybody.
I think Jim Lynam is an outstanding communicator, and it's unfathomable to be able to try to play on a year-long basis without being able to speak the language clearly and understand the directions that you have to have between the bench and the players on the court.
There's the leprechaun, Jim Lynam, who is indeed a good communicator, but he does have a little bit of the Philadelphia Blarney about him at times.
You have to have that edge. He learned that from Jack Ramsey. You can't come in and be Mr. Nice Guy to everybody. This is about big-time winning, big dollars on the line.
Mark West with the free throws. He's given the Pistons a lift on the boards. In fact, in this second quarter has out-rebounded the Bullets by himself, 6-5. Free throws make it a one-point game. Murasan against West. And West hacked him on the arm.
West, one of the league's best defensive players. So solid down low. The turnaround jumper, the pump fake, obvious, right on the wrist. The referee waited and saw that the ball had no chance to go in. But Mark West, this is a big-time shot blocker. He's the third leading shot blocker in the career, in the history of college basketball, behind Ralph Sampson and Tree Rollins.
Murasan's second free throw is good. Murasan is married. His wife, 6'1". She also is from Romania.
But his parents, remarkably, are 5'9" and 5'7", Murasan. And he looks bigger than 7'7" to me. I know I hang around a lot of 7'7" guys. He just looks bigger than that.
My first thought when I saw him was that he dwarfs Manute Bol. I mean, it's really, I think back of Manute's years in the leagues, and Murasan just looks much bigger. He's not. He's only an inch taller, although he is heavier.
Much better than Manute.
Yes. Hill. This is the outside shot. McClain the rebound. 6 boards for Don McClain. Overton penetrates, stripped away at the last minute, out of bounds to the Bullets.
If you're able to get by the perimeter defense for the Pistons, you should have your way. Terry Mills, not a great shot blocker. Mark West occupied with Murasan.
Three-pointer is good by Overton. Overton's first basket in the game.
He's the team's best three-point shooter at 43% on the season.
Dumars has a block by Kenny Walker. And the Bullets break. Walker called for the lob. Overton took it in and is fouled by Hunter.
Hunter, such a promising player, the 11th player taken overall. 22nd timeout here for the Pistons.
It comes with 4:18 left until halftime, with the Bullets leading 43-38. Kenny Walker made that last defensive play. Wanted the lob off the break. Grant Hill's had a sensational first half, as we've come to expect in his brief months in the league.
Time and time again, the surprise players come in a little bit, and then the league catches on to him. But Grant Hill's skills are so varied as we look at his very proud father. We had Chris Webber's dad on earlier. Now it's Calvin Hill's turn. Terrific football player for the Dallas Cowboys.
In fact, Calvin Hill and Macy Weber are acquainted through all the years their sons have competed, all the way back till their sons were 13 years old. They've been attending their games and, of course, have come into contact many, many times as their sons have occasionally been on the same team and often adversaries, but friendly ones.
You see these players growing up over the years, and the challenges that and the failures and successes that they have, and you just become so close with the parents out there. The parents live and die with every game.
Overton hits 1 of 2. He's played much better since Scott Skiles went down with injury.
Monster jam! Absolutely the play of the day. Set up by an incredible hesitation, stutter step dribble at the top of the key.
McClain from 15. Walker tapped a couple of times. Murasan fights for it. Picked up by Dumars. Hunter has it slapped away. Got it back.
Grant Hill to the floor. Dumars, who had 43 points in an earlier game against Washington, including 22 in the fourth quarter of the game. That's what's called being hot.
Missed that three up against the shot clock. McClain almost lost it. No foul called. He wanted one. Overton's shot won't go. Mills with the outlet to Dumars.
Isolate Hill again.
Against McClain. Takes him to the hoop with the left hand. Didn't finish that one. Muris on the rebound. Only the second miss of the day for Grant Hill. He's 7 of 9.
Incredibly tough play as McClain forced to call a timeout and get everything back in order for Washington. But the stutter step by Hill just freezes McClain. The defense, 1, 2, 3 guys, too late. Line them up, throw it down, bring out the next guys. What else you want to see? He's right-handed. They're trying to deny him. He's the whole focus. Grant Hill up and over everybody. Most importantly, down.
This is Bob Costas at the Alamo Dome. Two of the best teams in the West, the Suns and the Spurs, going at it. Charles Barkley has a game-high 18 at this point. Kevin Johnson the rebound, the pass up court to Barkley hanging back for the slam. As I said, Barkley with 18. The Suns had an early lead, but David Robinson led the Spurs back. He has 13, but on the bench right now with 3 fouls. Spurs leading by 9, 48-39. Back to Mr. Hammond and Mr. Walton.
All right, Bob, thanks for that update. And in addition to the Chris Webber fans here, there is a young lady with matrimony on her mind. I would think he was one of the nation's most eligible bachelors.
A single guy, rookie year, $45 million from the Pistons online for his multi-year contract. Huge endorsement potential and actualization. Grant Hill lives in a small rented apartment here in the Detroit area. Looking for a place to buy.
Bullets with the ball, 2:45 left till halftime. And Washington leading by 4. Make it 6 as Rex Chapman records half a dozen in this first half. Grant Hill right by Chaney. He blew by Calvert Chaney. Missed the shot. West fighting for it. Hunter gets it back.
The inability to convert inside. Not enough good players, big front court players. Grant Hill has kept it right there.
Hunter made that one happen with a penetration. Spotted Hill for the 15-footer. Grant has 18 points.
That breaks a 14-1 run for the Bullets. Started when Grant Hill went to the bench for a brief rest.
Chapman got it. Rex Chapman's floater. He has 8.
Chapman's just been shooting 27% over the last 4 games as he's tried to recover from injuries himself that have kept him out of a total of 25 games this year. Rex Chapman.
Hill behind the back. West couldn't handle it, too low. Turnover for Grant Hill, but he's been the only Piston to make a field goal in the last 6 minutes.
And the great Piston teams of the past, you had Isaiah able to penetrate and dish to Lane Beer and Mark McGuire, Adrian Dantley, James Edwards. Mark West just not that offensive force.
Weber misses a shot over West. Hunter threads his way through traffic. Murison, that was no contest.
Well, it was a poor shot by Lindsey Hunter. He's a big-time scorer out of college basketball, and they're trying to make him into a point guard. It's been frustrating this year. He's missed 40 games. He's playing with a plate in his foot, a surgically implanted plate.
Mills with a quick spin on Weber. 2 former Michigan stars. Mills high-arching shot with 1 second.
Terrific defense, Chris Webber, forcing that tough shot at the shot clock buzzer.
On the floor and back to Washington. Final 30 seconds of the second period. Eight to shoot. Murison knocked away by Mills. Good defense. Here's Hill against Chapman.
What a great sense of just how to play basketball. Up and down, knowing the shot clock, the game clock. Weber answers right back.
And Weber answers with a second to play. Chapman tries to save it with 0.2 of a second showing on the clock.
This game has lived up to its billing of the future stars. They have delivered. Just one more chance here. Nothing really can get done in less than 0.3 of a second other than the lob and dunk at the basket. Murasan, just get underneath the hoop and stand there.
Not touched.
Now Chris Webber has a chance.
So the Bullets will get it.
Now's the time you set a back screen for Weber. Let him get on the move. They're going to call a 20-second timeout. Set this play up. Jim Lynam and his assistant Derek Smith, one of the great leapers of all time in the NBA and then college basketball for Louisville. They'll set up an intriguing play here for Weber.
Derek Smith, in fact, often is drafted to practice with the team. They've had so many injuries, and we watched him yesterday as they worked out. He gave a good account of himself. He can still play.
You'll believe this because you broadcasted his games in college, but this guy, Derek Smith, one of the most incredible players ever in the NBA. So injury just cut short his career, tore his knee up on the left of your screen right there. One night, he took it at Michael Jordan as no one I've ever seen do before. It was an unbelievable battle. The Chicago Bulls won the game, but Derek Smith outplayed Michael Jordan. When Jordan went for 35 or 40 of his own, Derek Smith went for 40 of his own. An incredible game.
There's the lob for Weber. Touch. No bucket. So the first half comes to an end with the Washington Bullets leading by 6. And the young stars have been shining bright here in the first half. Weber 6 of 12 with 12 points and a rebound. Grant Hill, some fantastic moves in the first half. Is hit 9 of 12. He has 20 points. It's the Bullets 50 and the Pistons 44. And we'll be back for NBA Showtime halftime in just a moment.
Surgery out in Oregon, where he used to play for the Blazers before coming over in the big trade for Harvey Grant, which has not worked out really for either team.
54-48. Touched by McDaniel. Cheney off a screen, can't hit it. Rebounded by Dumars.
Tough shot, Cheney. You got to see that guy running at you out of the corner of your eye. Give him a pump fake. And Hill to his left all game long today.
He got it to Addison, who scored. Raphael Addison's 4th point, and the Pistons close within 4. Overton's shot won't go. Dumars, another rebound.
Very quiet game for Dumars. We had 43 earlier in a Bullet-Piston matchup. Got 1 today.
Almost deferred to Grant Hill today, though. And Allen Houston. Now here's Dumars over Murasan.
Come out here and get some of this in my territory.
Well, you know, Jim Lynam had another stat that he said when Murasan is on the floor, the other team shoots way down into the 40s in field goal percentage. And shots he doesn't block, he alters, or in that case, Dumars just a little hesitant to put it up. Got his timing on.
And Lynam, along that same theme, mentioned that Murasan is the only player on the entire team, including Chris Webber, that has the plus-minus on the positive side of the points scored for his team while he's on the floor. This is a guy, Murasan, who has played very little basketball at this level. Granted, he grew up playing in Romania.
Played in France. But what we're saying, I guess, is that he's more than just a curiosity at 7'7".
Grant Hill isolated again. Gave it up after they cleared the side.
Houston to Addison. Raphael Addison has hit a couple of open shots in this quarter, and the lead is 3.
But after a very quiet first half for Addison, a decent shooter, the only Piston who's played the whole game. Murasan finishes strong on the inside, but Mills, they all just have to tackle him in there. Murasan slides down after the pick. They have to foul him. Mursan can fill it up. He had 42 points a number of years ago when he was playing for the Romanian national team in a big game against Sweden. But to my best recollection, the Swedish national team doesn't offer the same resistance as, say, the Orlando Magic or the New York Knicks do.
And rolled in the second free throw. Mursan with 17 points and 10 rebounds. That is his 9th double-double of the season. Shot clock to 6. Addison couldn't get the roll. Dumars an offensive board.
Excuse me, Tom, but they're all looking for Mursan now that they come driving down the lane. Where is that big guy?
Hill, didn't matter, got right around it. Grant Hill seems to just glide around players. I mean, he's explosive with that first step, but it looks so easy.
That's come from years and years of just playing basketball. Dreaming about it, living the game. As opposed to previous times, they were down looking for Mursan. He just goes right by him, right at him. When you come out and think about the guy underneath the hoop, you're going to be hesitant. Arguably a foul there on Mursan.
Grant Hill has it going today, but his Pistons still trail by 3. You're watching the NBA on NBC. We're back at the Palace of Auburn Hills. You know, off the court, Grant Hill and Chris Webber are friends. They've been rivals since 13 years of age, and believe me, they have long memories. But Hill says that rivalry has been an enjoyable one.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Fun because I've won. Chris is beating my team. He's beaten me one time since we were 13 years of age. And I know he probably doesn't want to hear that, but...
You know, I was watching videotape yesterday, actually, of we were 13 playing each other, and he was still the same skinny, big-head kid on the court, and we were going at it then, and, you know, we're going to have some fun.
It's a lot of fun playing against Chris, and we developed a very good friendship, and he's a great player, and but it's better in the off-season to brag, you know, when you get more wins and when you beat them. You know, it's a good feeling.
Well, Grant Hill has the good feeling now. He's outscored Chris, but his team trails by 3 as Webber tries to get that second ever victory over a Hill team.
And Grant Hill finishes one more time at the hoop. Again, dunking in people's faces. We talked about the rivalry, and they go back to 13 years of age. This rivalry will eventually end up as the finals of the Eastern Conference in the NBA, with the winner going on to the finals.
Bold statement.
This team here, Washington, has so much promise. You can't believe that they have only 18 wins this year. And Grant Hill is every bit the player that the hype and the marketing have created this year. He has backed it up. He has extended it.
Don McLean just picked up his 4th foul. He's been trying to check Grant Hill all day. He may go back on the injured list after this.
And what's great about Grant Hill, like Jordan, like Magic, he enjoys playing. He enjoys the spotlight. The way Shaq and Webber do the same thing.
And interesting you should mention that. He said that was a bit of advice that Magic Johnson gave him to enjoy the game. It's still fun. It still should be an enjoyable thing. Be a little kid about the game, even though it is a big business. Houston misses a 3. The rebound comes to Overton.
John Wooden would tell us every game, Tom, guys, it's a simple game, a game to be played.
Mursan fouled Mills.
Terrific post-entry pass by Webber. You're really seeing his skills on full display, as well as Grant Hill's. Up at the top, looking for the shot. Addison just too slow. Quick reaction there. Grant Hill negates it there at the last minute. The range, the power, so much like Scottie Pippen.
Bullets lead by 2. Houston for the lead. Came up short. Thought he was fouled. And they say that it was last touch by Washington, so someone got a piece of it. You see that wry smile on Allen's face. You think they got a piece of the arm as well.
Don Chaney up the sideline as well as Lynham. This looks like a lot of arm there.
I think Allen had a point. Chaney with a steal.
Mursan always ready to make a good play.
Well, you want to take that back?
That's not his. That's the passer's. Well, that's the little guy's fault out there. Throw it up at the basket so he can smash it down.
Hill baseline drive, spotted Houston. Shoots over Chapman and got it. 18 for Allen Houston, and we're tied at 59.
The most important things for young players to learn here. Remember, this is not a game about the standings in the NBA. It's not about the playoffs. Detroit still can't get this. Chris Webber finishes off so much. But this applies to Chris Webber as well. Is Grant Hill, his numbers have had impact on this game. Allen Houston's have not. Chris Webber has had good numbers today, has had impact. And that's what Shaq has learned in now his third season, where basically every game he plays, his play determines the outcome. Webber and Grant Hill are right there.
Three-point play by Chris Webber. He has 20 points now. Impressive board work that time as he missed the first shot, got it back, scored, and drew the foul.
Or Dumars just won't shoot the ball. He's only taken 3 shots, missed all of those tonight.
Houston misses that one. Chaney, a strong rebound. 3-on-2 break. Webber, no look. Chaney, foul on Mills. Couldn't quite finish it, but Chaney will shoot 2.
The pass by Chris Webber. This is what used to drive Don Nelson absolutely crazy. The setup, the fancy showtime on the break. Big guys dribbling out. Jim Lynam says, hey, I'll take what I get and I'll coach what I got. He's very happy and excited about having Chris Webber.
5:20 left in the third. Bullets 62, Pistons 59. One of the teams least happy to see Michael Jordan return, the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's had some great moments against the Cavs, and that's one of our games next Sunday. It starts with NBA Showtime at 12:30 Eastern. Most of you will see Michael Jordan and the Bulls against the Cavaliers. Others will see Charlotte, Indiana. Then in the second half of our doubleheader, Charles Barkley and the Suns taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. That's an NBA doubleheader next week here on NBC.
Barkley making that huge statement down in San Antonio today. 27 first half points.
Albert Chaney at the free throw line. And before we went to the timeout, you were talking about Chris Webber and the fact that he was in Nelly's doghouse. And we asked Jim Lynam if he had any trepidation about getting in on his team with all the problems he had in his relationship with his previous coach. And Lynam said, I didn't ask my wife about her previous boyfriend.
Quite the storyteller, Jim Lynam, on top of every aspect of people's lives. A great leader.
He's allowed Webber considerable latitude, and it's paid off for the Bullets. Hill had it poked away, managed to save it. Mills with 1 second, can't hit.
The Bullets defense so strong, extending the lead to 5. Without Grant Hill, the Pistons have had nothing today. Over the top.
Attempted lob directs Chapman, and a holding foul on Allen Houston. 4th foul on Houston.
Big guy like Webber likes to play in the perimeter. Mostly, though, so effective down low, banging it up. Houston's 4th foul.
Mark Macon will replace Allen Houston.
All set up, of course, by the passing ability of Chris Webber. Imagine if you would sit back and think 15 years ago, oh, yeah, let's bring our 6'9" power guy outside and have him lob to our 6'2" guard racing to the hoop. But Rex Chapman, as you well know, an incredible leaper, athletic ability, supreme Rex Jackson.
Chapman hits 2, and that extends the Bullets' lead.
That's 34 straight free throws for Rex Chapman.
And Washington's on a 7-0 run. Macon just into the game.
And looks a little rusty.
Yeah, he does. In serious trouble. Mills made a good catch.
Shot clock again.
2 to shoot. Dumars does and hits. A rare shot in this game for Joe Dumars. Up against the clock. He got it through. He's only 1 of 4 in this game.
We're going to call a 22nd timeout. Washington couldn't get the ball inbound. Rafael Addison very solid in denying the entry pass.
And Joe Dumars finally getting a field goal.
Dumars, one of the game's great clutch players. MVP of the 1989 finals when the Pistons won their first championship.
Interesting, he said how his role has changed. When he first came to the Pistons, it was somewhat of a complimentary role, and then as the other players left, he's the only one left from their 2 championship teams. He became the dominant player, and now perhaps with Allen Houston starting to score with Grant Hill on the scene, he's going back to that complimentary role again.
And as we look at his career numbers, his contribution to this franchise, his number and name will be retired at the Palace a couple years after he retired. He's a 4-time NBA All-Star, Detroit's 5th leading career scorer, the only player left from the great championship teams.
And a classy guy, too, isn't he?
Here's a guy who was cut. He was cut from the '84 Olympic trials along with Barkley and Stockton. Guys like Jeff Turner made the team. Goes to show you how your career will change. But Dumars, 10 years now out of McNeese State. Tri-captain on Dream Team 2. Does it all, and as you say, a class act all the way. And a perfect guy to team up with Grant Hill as he gets started. You won't believe who the guy was that got me started.
Who was it?
Your old partner, Steve Jones.
Oh, Steve Jones. I thought you were going to give me another one of those. Dennis Rodman is the smartest man in the NBA.
Well, that fits right in, doesn't it?
Well, Joe Dumars is an investment banker here in the Detroit area, and he says that's what he'll be doing when he retires in 2 years. He has opened up the Joe Dumars Fieldhouse recently for kids in the Detroit area.
Joe Dumars is still in the top 20 of all-time collegiate scorers.
Chaney nearly fumbled the ball out of bounds.
And that was as a result of a timeout because they couldn't get the ball inbound.
Washington on the half court, leading by 5. Chapman spinning, dishing, and Chaney open. Nice ball movement by the Bullets. Chapman, Weber, Chaney for 3.
Chris Weber making it all happen. The enthusiasm, the joy, the exuberance that he plays with as Washington comes with a double-teaming, trapping defense, getting the ball out of Grant Hill's hands, which is a great idea.
Raphael Addison now with 8 points as the Pistons look for some offense from someone other than Grant Hill, especially with Allen Houston on the bench with 4 fouls. Double team of Weber, nearly got the basket through, and he is fouled either by Addison or Hill. Let's see. It's on Addison. Let's go to Marianne Grabavoy now with a little bit of a sidebar on the life of George Mirasan.
Well, we're going to take a look from one of the last timeouts. Standing next to the Bullets' gentle giant, George Mirasan, is his translator, Greg Gica. When the Bullets drafted Mirasan, they knew he was fluent in his native tongue, Romanian, and also in French, but they knew he knew almost no English. So they went and searched for a translator who would, in effect, become a member of the team, Mirasan's shadow. Well, the man is Greg Gica. He's a native of Bucharest, Romania. He was living in Washington, had no job. He got a call from the Bullets general manager, John Nash, and he's been doing it for the last 2 years. He's in every huddle. He's even on the sidelines yelling in translations for Jimmy Lynam when George is on the court. And Greg says George's English is coming along, but he sometimes conveniently doesn't understand things. Tom?
All right, Marianne.
He's learned that from Tony Kukoc and all of the other international players that come in and just sort of smile and nod their head and say, sure, I understand. And then they just go out and shoot it every time. Shot clock problems here. Veteran official Dick Bavetta, one of the game's greats, as well as Lee Jones, who are both here today, and the younger one, Gary Benson, coming quite a long way himself.
Mirasan low post, draws the double team. No problem finding an open man. Just looks over. Chapman for 3. Ball movement again by Washington.
Washington's playing with style, purpose, determination. They're in control of this game.
Chapman has 13 off the bench. Addison can't answer. Chapman the rebound.
But that's when it's the scariest for Washington. They had the huge lead throughout the game over Cleveland on Friday night. And Cleveland's doing a beautiful pass.
No look. Weber to Chapman with a finish. Rex with 15. Weber made it happen.
The Washington Bullets playing like the team that made it such a promising group of players when they got Howard and Weber just a couple weeks into the season.
First double-digit lead in the game. Mills collides with Chapman, who's called for the block.
Remember, Weber, who's been averaging 25-plus points a game, just sets up Chapman. Just the turn, the look away prohibits Terry Mills in that situation, Weber's defender, from rotating over. Brilliant play, Chris Weber.
Terry Mills for a pair. Look at the three-point production for Terry Mills this season, more than his previous career combined.
The rule changes have helped everybody. Guys now who only had 21-foot range now become all-time three-point shooters.
Would you have lost a few?
They would have told me, get under the hoop where you can do something, big guy.
Chaney's floater. Albert Chaney with a dozen. Washington looking real good.
And going very small. Chapman and Chaney was laying on the bench. Of course, Howard out with the injury.
And Dumars sails it past Macon and out of bounds. Pistons turn it over. 1:52 left in the third. As Mark West returns for the Pistons, replacing Addison.
Washington in control, needs to keep that, keep pounding it to Weber, who's set the tempo with his passing.
Overton with a quick shot from outside. I don't think that's what Jim Lynam had in mind.
No need for that. You got a two-man game with Weber and Chapman.
Dumars with a floater. Only his fifth point. 77-68.
Grant Hill quiet of late. The double teaming strategy by Lynam paying off.
Weber against West. Draws the double team and spots Chaney wide open. Weber with his fifth assist of the game. Chaney with a finish.
Chaney, a terrific college and Final Four performer in his own right. Don Chaney, very frustrated, disappointed in the team's defensive effort, needs a timeout.
And he takes one with 1:02 remaining in the third quarter. It's regroup time for Detroit. Chris Weber, the last few times down court, has really made some nice passes. All right, let's go to Bob Costas now at NBA Showtime for an update. Bob?
Are you ready?
All right, let's take a look at the Suns and the Spurs from the Alamo Dome, where they are tied at 84 apiece after three quarters, and a huge first three quarters for Charles Barkley. The KJ drive out to Barkley for the three. 3 of the 39 points he has at this juncture in the game. The Suns had a 14-0 run in the third quarter. Kevin Johnson with only 8 so far. That drive and lay-in part of the 14-0 run. Remarkably, the Spurs hang in, and now they've tied it again at 84 all after 3.
All right, Bob, 39 points for Barkley. Grant Hill says he's the toughest he's played against in his rookie season, though he hasn't played Michael Jordan yet. Tie game there, and here at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Bill Laimbeer smiling there, but Rick Mahorn, his former teammate, taking a page out of Laimbeer's book today.
I think Laimbeer's got to be happy with the fact that Mahorn in the New York game at the Meadowlands today, Mahorn and Ewing tangle late in the first half. They both get ejected. Mahorn does his job as Laimbeer did his. Time in and time out. They retired his number along with Vinnie Johnson from the championship years. And Dave Bing and Bob Lanier, the Hall of Famers, they're up there from a previous era.
Pistons trailing 79-68.
Vinnie Johnson doing the radio here in Detroit. What an incredible player he was. Retired banner for the Bad Boys. I remember when they retired his number here, they gave him a microwave.
The Vinny the microwave, right? instant.
A symbol of his nickname. He was probably hoping his name was Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
He played like a Rolls Royce.
Grant Hill, that's his first shot in a long time, and he makes it. In fact, he had scored 5 straight to tie the score at 57 all. That's his first shot since, and he makes it a 9-point game.
Detroit has to play better defense, though, and Mark Macon, one of the game's best defenders, causes that turnover here as Overton has to push off to try to regain the ball. Gary Benson right on top of the play.
Third foul on Overton. It comes with 43 seconds remaining in the third.
The poke, the hold off, easy play to call.
Mark Macon in his 4th season out of Temple. Spent 2.5 years in Denver before coming to Detroit.
He was a lottery pick himself, the 8th pick overall in the '91 draft.
And though he played at Temple, was born in Saginaw, Michigan. Former Michigan Mr. Basketball.
The same as Terry Mills, one of 2 players on this Michigan team, Mr. Basketball. Look at Macon playing the defense now, denying the point guard possession, forcing Weber to bring it up.
Final seconds of the third.
Y'all good, y'all good, y'all good.
Cheney lost it. Hill on the floor to save it. Right through Macon. Now he and Overton scramble, knocked out of bounds. And it will be Washington basketball.
You love to see this. These are 2 teams at the bottom of their respective divisions in the Eastern Conference. Washington, 18 wins. Detroit, 25 wins, yet guys diving all over the floor, hustling as if this game meant the championship to them.
Don Cheney and Joe Dumars both saying the fact that the Pistons have an outside chance at that final playoff spot has been sort of a stabilizing factor, keeping a young team focused when it might be easy to think of other things out of the race.
But Detroit has lost 9 of their last 11 games overall. Rex Chapman just lost that ball.
Dumars for 3. Detroit on a 9-2 run to close the quarter, punctuated by this tray from the veteran Joe Dumars. At the end of 3, the Pistons climb back into it. 79-75 as we head to the 4th. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Grant Hill's been making a lot of fans throughout the NBA. The 4th quarter about to unfold here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Just a couple of moments ago, the Bullets led by 11, but as we start the 4th, it's a 4-point game, 79-75.
It turned around with the defense. Macon comes in. He remains in the lineup. Grant Hill always plays the tough defense along with Dumars. Dumars' 3-pointers might be the spark.
And another one, that's a 2. Joe Dumars, quiet for most of the game, starting to light it up here.
And checking foul on Macon.
Don't forget, at the end of our basketball coverage, we'll be bringing you PGA Golf. We'll go to New Orleans for the final round of the Freeport McMorran Classic. That's coming up next here on NBC.
I mentioned that Macon started out with Denver. He was their defensive player of the year. I'm not sure if that's an honor of distinction or not. Back in the Doug Moe days.
Chapman for 3. Key basket for the Bullets. Rex Chapman, he has 18. He's hit 7 of 10, and the Bullets go back up by 5.
Bullets need big-time offense down the stretch here. Joe Dumars seems to say, hey, we got a chance to win this game. Still in the playoffs there, Chapman.
Weber. Offensive foul.
Tough call for Weber. Runs the floor so magnificently. Calling for it. Mark West, though, rotates in beautifully. The charge. Got to be able to change direction in midair. That's what a Grant Hill, that's what a Dr. J, a Jordan, Remember, Chris Webber, 6'9", 260.
He is so fluid and so agile that you forget how big he is. Grant Hill fouled as he forces his way to the basket.
How quick is Grant Hill? He loses the ball momentarily and still is able to blast by. And Calbert Chaney is an unbelievably talented defensive player, rooted so solidly in fundamentals. Chaney learning from Bob Knight, one of the best teachers.
McIlvaine with a foul as Hill misses the first free throw. Rookie scoring leaders for the Pistons. You see that 19.1 for Grant Hill is third all time. The only other Piston that was Rookie of the Year was Dave Bing.
Went on to a Hall of Fame career, Dave Bing. So successful in business in the steel industry here. Still active in the ex-NBA Players Association.
This is a good crop of rookies that Grant Hill is heading, don't you think?
Tremendous crop.
Webber under pressure from Mills, banked it through. Chris has 23.
And that's what Chris Webber needs to do to get to the Shaquille O'Neal level. He's very close, but he has to have that go-to move down low, that when they need the basket, the big road game, making it to hoop, can't finish, they call the clear out. But when Webber can learn how to do this time and time again, get the tough entry pass, recover, balance, and deliver a good disciplined shot that goes down 95% of the shot, then he'll be right there in the books to be competing year in and year out for the champion.
Foul on the shot.
Remember, Webber is one of the 6 youngest players in the NBA, along with Juwan Howard. So this is a team that has nothing but a bright future.
Playing without the injured Howard today, Jim Lynam saying he's never seen 2 big men more complementary than Webber and Howard. Probably a result of playing together for so long. They just complement each other's game.
Well, they have complementary personalities. You have Webber, the flamboyant, dynamic one. Howard, more subdued, more workmanlike.
There's Juwan on the bench.
Juwan in the middle there, the street clothes. So solid and rooted in fundamentals, Howard is, whereas Webber more the explosive type player.
Hill ducks away from the defense, flips it to West. McIlvaine got a piece of it. West tried to save it, threw it out of bounds. The Bullets continue to lead with 9:39 left in the game. It's 86-78 Washington.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes us back to the 66-67 season when Dave Bing was named the NBA's Rookie of the Year. As the Pistons' first-round pick out of Syracuse, he averaged 20 points and 4 rebounds a game. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
Leading rookie scorers for the year, Glenn Robinson, but Dave Bing looking so sharp. Looked like Cobo Hall in that highlight film there. The old San Diego Rockets guys I used to play against, but I played a lot of games against Dave Bing, as tough as they get. Huge clutch player, as well as a person.
Very distinguished looking now, Dave Bing in the stands today. Quite an all-star roster of former players here to see some greats of the future like Chris Webber and Grant Hill.
Allen Houston, Lindsey Hunter, who's showed so much promise but has been just saddled by the injuries. Hasn't really got it going this year after a stellar rookie season last year.
2 players in foul trouble on each end back in the game. Allen Houston with 4 for the Pistons, and Don McLean with 4 for Washington.
Looked like Webber and Dumars were talking about the old games up at Ann Arbor. How's that not illegal?
Air ball pulled down by Mills. Here comes Detroit. In the hands of Hill. He'll shoot 2.
Grant Hill, 8th player in the history of Duke University to have his basketball jersey retired. So disappointing that the Blue Devils fell apart this year. That's another testament to how good Grant Hill is. Every year he played there, they went to the all the way to the finals. This year they couldn't win a game. And Krzyzewski and Grant Hill are much better friends now that they're not working together, as most coaching player relationships do develop.
Yeah, he said the relationship changed from one of authority to friend over coach. I guess as yours with Coach Wooden did.
Certainly. I hope that Coach Wooden can make it up to Seattle for the championship game tomorrow night. UCLA, Arkansas.
Houston made a good catch and is hammered as he takes it to the hoop. That's 5 on McLean. Speaking of Bruins.
Bruins, yes, Don McLean, the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Pac-10 and UCLA. And that includes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Allen Houston, though, how about the special relationship he had with his college coach, who happened to be his dad.
It's such a painful time for Allen, who in his senior season saw the rumors swirling around his dad, Wade, who was eventually fired as Tennessee head coach. In fact, Allen had been on his dad's state championship team at Ballard High School in Louisville, Kentucky. Had signed with the University of Louisville, where his dad became an assistant. When his dad got the head coaching job, he obtained a release and went to Tennessee only to be with his dad. West, strong rebound.
Mitchell Butler leaves it short too many times.
Dumars for 3. Mark West with his 12th rebound.
One of the most durable players in the history of the NBA. The rebound, kick out, Joe Dumars spotting up, 3-point shot. Pistons right back in it after being down. Dumars the man today.
Welcome back to the Palace. A 1-point game. Bullets up by 1. I'm Marianne Grabavoy, and joining me now, Juwan Howard, making a strong bid for Rookie of the Year, but you've been slowed by this ankle injury. It's got to kill you to sit on the sideline.
Well, you know, I injured his ankle 2 weeks ago against Cleveland, and then I came back, you know, the other day, and then re-injured it again against Cleveland. So it seems to me that Cleveland must be a bad luck team for Juwan.
Some sweet no-look passes by your teammate Chris Webber today. What's it been like to have him on your team?
Well, Chris is a great player, and you know, I am enthused just to be a part of, you know, playing with Chris again. You know, I enjoy playing with him. I enjoy watching him. He's so an exciting player that, you know, you just got to watch him when you're out there on the court, because anytime he's going to throw you the ball.
Well, I know you're graduating from the University of Michigan this April, right?
Yes, indeed.
Congratulations on that. Hope your ankle heals well. And now back to Tom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Juwan Howard being pushed with the Bullets for Rookie of the Year now. They've got the T-shirts, the buttons, the videotapes going out, and he's had a great season. Bullets trying to break a 7-0 Detroit run here.
I think Juwan Howard will be on the first team all-rookie team. I think the Rookie of the Year will come down to Grant Hill, Glenn Robinson, and Jason Kidd. Juwan Howard's certainly a tremendous player. Grant Hill declined the Pistons' offer to have a promotional campaign for him, much the way the Bullets have pushed Howard with the video and the T-shirts and the mailing to all the media voters. Grant said that, nah, I'll get it done on the court.
And he has.
Certainly done it today.
Eloquently.
As all season. But right now, as the Bullets are holding on to a tenuous 1-point lead with 7.5 to go, they've got to get Webber and Murasan back in control of this game. They've been quiet for a long time.
Chaney misses 2. The Bullets have hit only 16 of 27 free throws today. Mills from outside.
Mills can eventually be the spot-up shooter piece to the puzzle that Lambeer was for many years. Grant Hill finding him beautifully, forcing shots. The defense for Detroit has really tightened up.
Weber gets the roll on the putback, and that puts Washington back in front after Detroit had the lead briefly, their first lead since midway in the second quarter.
You talked about Weber's fluidity. It's amazing when you look at the history of basketball, the big power forwards, Maurice Lucas, starting with Bob Pettit and then going to Elvin Hayes and Maurice Lucas. To see the eventual transition and evolution of that power forward spot into Chris Webber.
Allen Houston now with 22 points after that last bucket. Overton, rebounded by Hill. That's 6 rebounds for Grant.
No outside shooting. Overton, Chapman, Cheney, they got to nail those shots.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the game. Allen Houston, 2 in a row. 24 in the game, and the Pistons lead 91-88.
How many times have the Washington Bullet fans seen this scenario? Big lead, strong performance throughout, the fold down the stretch.
Cheney. Albert Cheney a long range 2. He has 15. The lead is 1. Houston's had the hot hand. Gives it up. West. Murison taps it.
Not Mark West's shot there.
Murison started the break by tapping the ball to Overton. Then Chapman misses a 3.
Chapman and Overton are shooting too quickly. These are good shooters. Chapman can be a great shooter. He's been in a slump of late. Wait for your big guys. Set a tempo. Have a style to the way you play. It's not just running up and down the court shooting jumpers. Dumars has to beat the shot clock now.
2 to shoot. Houston does, and he got it. A 3. Allen Houston has suddenly caught fire. He has 27 points. He has 9 already in the quarter.
The guy, as you said earlier, averaging 24 points a game over the last dozen or so ball games.
Overton steps up with a 2. 2-point Piston lead.
The Bullets, who have had 6 consecutive 50-game losing seasons, tied for 3rd in the all-time futility mark.
Grant Hill gives it up to Dumars for a tray.
Where were these shooters earlier? Allen Houston, Joe Dumars. Grant Hill carried the load magnificently and heroically early on.
Cheney for 3, can't answer. Kept alive by Murison. Chapman for 3. West with another rebound. He's been a bear on the boards. That's 14.
West and Mills have negated the influence of Weber and Murison down the stretch.
Pistons trailing by 11 have suddenly taken command.
Allen Houston beats the shot clock that you saw at the top of your screen with that 3-pointer. Dumars off the penetration and the dish, championship style basketball, a 3 of his own, and then Hill caps off this great rally, this comeback to take complete control of this game. Grant Hill at the hoop and the foul one more time.
There's been a hail of bullets, but they can't capture this Hill.
This is Bob Costas in New York. They're in the last minute of the game in San Antonio. The Spurs are in front of the Suns, 105-101. Here's Sean Elliott in the face of Charles Barkley with a slam. but Barkley has had a huge game. He's got 45 for the Suns, who trail by 4 in the last 30 seconds of the ballgame right now, 105-101. Meanwhile, here's Hubert Davis of the Knicks nailing a 3 against the Nets at the Meadowlands. The Knicks take the lead, 81-79 on that bucket with 5 minutes to go. They're in the midst of a 20-5 run, this without Patrick Ewing, who was ejected in the game after a fight with Rick Mahorn in the second quarter. The Knicks have taken the lead for the first time since the first half, and let's go back to Hammond and Walton.
All right, Bob Costas says close games throughout the NBA today. Thomas Hitman Hearns. The Garden has nothing on the celebrities here at the Palace of Auburn Hills today. Recently returning to the ring victorious here in Detroit as Hill rolls in the free throw.
Thomas Hearns, a regular here at the Palace, as he has been throughout the entire Piston history wherever they've played. Cobo Hall, the Silverdome, a huge basketball fan.
Grant Hill now with 33 points. Detroit has outscored Washington 22-6 over the last 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Overton for 3. That'll help. It's a 5-point Detroit lead.
Detroit has all the momentum. Their shooters are all in rhythm. Houston, Dumars, Grant Hill, West pounding the boards. Got to do something to break that rhythm. Good defensive stop, maybe a block by Murasan. They call the illegal defense, though.
Career high equaling 33 for Grant Hill.
He's had, in his last 5 games, he's had tied his career high twice at 33, at 32 in a game.
Dumars hits the free throw on the illegal defense.
Finishing off the season so strong. Don't know if Detroit is quite ready to make a statement for the playoffs right now. I think that maybe Milwaukee and New Jersey probably the most competitive of the teams at the bottom of the Eastern Conference right now.
Talking about finishing strongly, Joe Dumars has scored 16 points in the last 13 minutes. And there's another tray. This one from Allen Houston. The backcourt is lighting it up. 30 for Houston. Albert Cheney to answer. Can't get it. Mills the rebound. Well, when we started the telecast, we talked about the good young talent. And Hill, Houston, and Weber have certainly been as advertised.
We also mentioned how Houston's early numbers were uneventful. Not been the case down the stretch as he has become the impact player in the fourth, along with this man right here, Dumars.
Dumars can't connect. Here's Cheney the other way with 1:30 and counting. Weber for 3. Chris Weber has 28 points. If you live in Washington or Detroit, you can't help but be excited about the prospects in the coming years with this young core of talent, assuming the Bullets can re-sign Chris Weber, restricted free agent.
That will be a big battle. Remember, Chris Weber gave up $75 million guaranteed dollars from Golden State.
West. And Murasan finally gets it. Thought about giving West an elbow to the chops, but
that's always a good idea.
Pulled back in time. 16 rebounds for George Murasan today. Weber faked another 3. Overton will take it. Cheney, offensive board. Chapman for 3. And Rex Chapman connects. It's a 3-point game with 35 seconds left.
He hit the foul right away. Can't let them burn out the shot clock the way they've been offensive rebounding and getting to the line.
Dumars, fall away, got it, the veteran. Game on the line, give the ball to Joe Dumars. We talked about the young talent, but there's an old guy still around who hasn't given it up yet.
Dumars isolated one-on-one. Overton, the little use of the off arm, the bump, years of experience. Joe Dumars, on a day dedicated to the young, Joe Dumars stands tall.
20.2 seconds remaining. Detroit leading 106-101. There's the situation. The Pistons still have a foul to give. And Joe Dumars lighting it up in the fourth quarter. He's gotten 17 of his 18 points in the last 14 minutes. Grant Hill, game high 33. And Chris Webber leading the Washington attack with 28. Rex Chapman has pitched in 21. And Allen Houston 30.
We talked all day about the rookies. Joe Dumars was an all-rookie first-team member in 1986. Drafted out of McNeese State as the 18th overall player. Not all the stars are lottery picks.
Chapman. Floater comes up short. Kenny Walker keeps it alive. By Allen Houston. Lost it. Chapman for three. Webber taps it in with 9.1.
They need to foul right away. The clock is such an enemy of the Bullets.
Chris Webber with 30 points in his homecoming appearance as they foul Dumars in the corner.
Probably the wrong guy to foul, but if you're the Detroit Pistons, the right guy to have at the line, because Joe Dumars has 7 straight seasons of shooting better than 80% from the line.
He's been there a time or two, also, hasn't he?
And he's the type of player who is at his best in the clutch. When he won the MVP for the 89 finals, averaged over 27 points a game as the Pistons swept the Lakers.
19 points the last 14 minutes of the game, and Don Chaney saw the Bullets lead by 11 until he got the vet cranked up. And the Bullets will take a timeout with 7 seconds left, facing a 5-point deficit. Pistons 108, Bullets 103. Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. The Pistons leading by 5, and they still have a heartbeat in the race for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference.
But the remaining schedule for the Detroit Pistons is brutal. They play all the best teams. Everyone they play is in the playoffs or ahead of them in the standings. So it will be very difficult for Detroit, although they put on a tremendous performance today. Keyed by Joe Dumars.
With 10 minutes left in the game, Washington had an 8-point lead. Over the next 8 minutes, the Pistons win on a 26-9 run. And that's told the story here. Delay of game warning against Detroit. 7 seconds left. Chaney with a slam, 4.4.
Washington going for the tie, trying to get the 2 and then the 3. They got to again foul Dumars.
3 seconds left. Joe Dumars to the line. Lynam's team again has lost a big lead, and Chaney's club leads by 3.
You mentioned the solid citizen of Joe Dumars.
And we remind you that coming up next, golf, the Freeport McMorran Classic from New Orleans coming up at the end of the game. 3 seconds left.
But Dumars is the recipient of the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award from the NBA. Kennedy, of course, the ex-commissioner.
And a late starting 22 points for Joe Dumars today. 22nd timeout taken by the Bullets. And with a game in doubt, they turned it over to Joe Dumars. And for all the brilliance of the Grant Hills and the Allen Houstons, when it came down to winning the game, it was the veteran that took over.
We talked earlier about Dumars getting the 43 points in the previous game against Washington. In the last 2 minutes and 41 seconds of that game, 2 minutes 40 seconds, Dumars had 12 points. That is phenomenal, a number of points in the closing moments.
In fact, in the second half of that game, he had 34.
That's called finding the range at the right time.
And a similar performance today, even more dramatic. Had 1 point after 32 minutes and 21 in the next 16, 22 now.
And we were talking about how he was a non-factor, just didn't show up today, but I think he was setting the stage for us, teasing us.
Pass goes all the way out of bounds. And the Pistons will put it in play with 2.4 left. Should be 3, and they reset it to 3. Clock should not have started. So a typical Bullet performance, sorry to say, for the Washington fans. An 8-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they will lose. That's it. Once down by 11, the Pistons, behind veteran Joe Dumars, come storming back. An embrace for the old rivals but close friends, Grant Hill and Chris Webber. Joe Dumars exploded late to carry the Pistons to a 110-105 victory. Game-high honors, though. Grant Hill with 33, but there's the veteran, Joe Dumars, with Marianne Grabavoy.
Joe, in a game that showcased the young NBA talent, the veteran comes through when they need it.
That's my role now. Let those guys wear themselves out, 3 quarters, and come in the fourth quarter and close the game out.
Quickly, 11 games left. Any chance at that last playoff spot?
Yeah, we're looking at it. Every day we look at the standings, and we're trying to make ground. We're just looking and hoping other teams lose.
You have Orlando twice and Chicago twice.
You didn't have to remind me of that.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Tom, back to you.
And so the Pistons win. Grant Hill with 33. Chris Webber had 30. Coming up next, final round coverage, the Freeport McMorran Classic from New Orleans. For Bill Walton and Marianne Grabavoy, this is Tom Hammond saying so long from the Palace of Auburn Hills. You've been watching the NBA on NBC.
Coming to NBC.